Investing can be a tricky business, and sometimes requires more luck than skill. But have you ever heard of a businessman who had so much dumb luck he obtained wealth and success almost by accident? Meet Lord Timothy Dexter. Dexter was born in 1747 in Massachusetts and was basically uneducated. He started working at age 8 as a farmhand, but eventually became a leather dresser, which is basically a tailor, but, with leather. He eventually married a rich widow named Elizabeth Frothingham, using her money to move into a nicer neighborhood. He also started calling himself Lord Timothy Dexter to try to impress his new rich friends. It didn't work. In fact, some of his new neighbors tried to force him into poverty with terrible business advice.
Hey Tim, this new government we got is, they're printing these new American bills. You should, invest in them.
Wait, aren't those worthless?
What? No, everyone loves them. In fact, they're the new big thing. You should totally do it.
Well, that's good enough for me, I'm in. So our boy Dexter put all of his wife's money into these new bills that weren't even worth the paper they were printed on. But miraculously, it was around the same time that the Constitution was put into effect, and the US government decided to buy back these bills at 1% of their face value. Dexter benefited a lot from this deal. Later, he decided to go international with his business ventures and sell 42,000 warming pans to the West Indies. If you didn't know, warming pans were used to heat beds during the wintertime before central heating was invented. However, Dexter didn't realize that the West Indies was a tropical area that really didn't have a winter. So when he realized that he had come all this way with mountains of pans that were basically worthless for their intended purpose, instead of hanging his head in shame and sailing back home to face poverty, he just shrugged his shoulders and remarketed them as ladles to sell to local molasses plantations. This sort of thing wasn't even a one-off occurrence either. On multiple occasions, he sold winter gloves to tropical regions, only to have them shipped off to colder countries. Sometime later, he decided to try to sell coal to the mining town of Newcastle. Fortunately for him, the miners were on strike, and Dexter's coal couldn't have come at a better time for the freezing townspeople. Eventually, his risky business ventures took a toll on his family life, to the point that when visitors came over, he would tell them that his wife had died.
So, how's the old ball and chain been treating you, Tim?
Oh, you didn't hear? My wife passed away 3 months ago.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize.
No, that's okay. She should have known better than to antagonize those raccoons. Dinner will be ready in 10. Yeah, get out of here.
Wasn't that your wife?
What? No, that was, her ghost. She's been haunting this house for the past, 4 months or so.
You mean 3 months?
Sure, let's go with that. Probably my favorite thing he did, though, was when he faked his own death just to see how people would react. And when he noticed that his wife wasn't particularly upset at his mock funeral, he got a little irritated. Timothy, I don't know if you can hear me from wherever you ended up, but you were kind of a megalomaniac and a terrible husband, and I'm honestly not even that upset about your loss. Fuck you, bitch! Eventually, he wrote a book entitled A Pickle for the Knowing Ones, in which he wrote about his 3 most hated enemies: politicians, the clergy, and his wife. The book had no punctuation and seemingly random capitalization, and Dexter himself had so little faith in the book's success that he just started giving away copies for free. It ended up becoming so popular that it was reprinted 8 times and had a second edition in which our boy Dexter put an entire page filled with punctuation marks, instructing the reader to place them wherever he or she saw fit. His book still stands as one of his more famous accomplishments, although I would argue that was the least interesting thing about this master businessman. So remember, next time someone tries to get you to invest in floating fireplaces for the South American underclass, just think to yourself, what would Dexter do? I'm Shameless Steve. See you later.